Yeah, hi. This is video number 3. In this video, we will continue from where we stopped in our previous video. So in previous video, we created this VM and added as agent. Now let's continue and start with this pipeline. And also for running this pipeline successfully, we also need to give some couple of permissions, and also we need to create one storage account on Azure Cloud. So we'll try to complete in this video. If not, we will extend to one more video as well. Fine. Let's go and create pipeline now. For that, let me go to my Azure DevOps. Okay, so the agent is running. This is personal access token. I can just go and access my project. And this is my repository. So I only have main.tf. So this is the file which will create resources in my Azure account. But for that, let's write a pipeline. We can set up a pipeline by clicking this setup build here, or you can go to pipeline and create a pipeline. Both will do the same tasks. Okay, for my pipeline, where is the code? If you have it in GitHub, you can give this, or if you are having it in repo, you can select this. So we have it in our repo, and I'll just say Azure repo, and inside that, which is the repository, that's Terraform, this one. Okay, now you're going to create a pipeline, right? So are you going to start from the scratch, or are you going to use an existing YAML file? And I don't have the file in repo, so I'll just go and start a basic file so that I have my code. So I'll just delete it. I'll go back to my code. I'll get the code. So this is the pipeline code. Let me just open it. Yeah. Let me copy this entire code, Control A, Control C, and I don't need this. Go back to my pipeline and paste it. So when you're pasting it, you can see a lot of errors here, right? So that is because we need to install the Terraform extensions here. So how do we do it? I'll go to my organization, and in my organization settings, I'll go to add an extension, because Azure DevOps doesn't come with this all the extensions installed. But if you need any particular tool, then you can enable it or add it. So that's what we are going. And let's go to Marketplace, search for Terraform, and install Terraform plugins. The very first entry you will select and say get it for free. It takes some time. I'll give the necessary information. Yes, I want to install to this organization. I can say proceed to organization. Everything is fine. Now if I go to my pipeline, if I refresh once, I need to go for starter pipeline and then paste it. You can see that almost all the errors were waived off because we just installed the Terraform toolkit. So now we are ready here. If you see here, what are we doing? All the Terraform commands we are executing. First thing is we will execute init and then validate. And then we will go for executing plan and then apply. Apply is the command will actually create the resources on the target cloud service provider. And then that cloud service provider I'm using is Azure RM. So Azure RM plugin, or the bridge if I'm using provider bridge if I'm using this like all this modification of the resource creation will happen in Azure cloud. And if you go to init, we are just initializing a backend here to store our state file. And to store our state file, we need to create a storage account with this given name. Okay, so what I will do is I'll just slightly modify this to demo, and I will create this storage account inside this resource group called demo. Okay, so already I have a resource group called demo created. So go to my resource groups. Yeah, demo is created, and I will provision the storage account also in that resource group only. So that is why I just modified it to demo. And you can see the storage account name. Let me just copy the storage account name. While creating, I use this name. So let's go and create a storage account. You can search for storage account and get it. Okay, let's create. Let me put it in demo. Name, let it be this. Storage account name must be unique throughout all the account. If I am giving this name and if you are also giving the same name, it may not work out. Okay, so better you can change this number at the end, maybe 5635. Instead of that, you can give a different number and it should be unique. That's it. So you and me are having account like that. Millions of user may have account. So this storage account name must be unique among all the accounts. I'll put it in Central India. Other modification, I'm not changing anything, and I'll say review, create, and create. Once this storage account is created, then we will have to add a container. For that, let me just go to container and the name of the container, where is my pipeline? So the container name to be check. So I'll just copy this and come back here and add a container, paste it and create it. So what we have done, manually we created the storage account, and this is the storage account. Inside this, we created a container. Okay. So when pipeline is running, it will initialize this particular containers one file. It will create another file inside automatically. Okay. And then it will register this particular file as the state file, TF state file. Okay. So we created storage account. Now we need to give the permission for this pipeline to access this particular storage accounts container. So we need to give two permissions here. Okay, so before giving permission, we need to create one service connection. And for this service connection, we will give two permissions. So one is a owner role. I'm just giving a highest role, as highest possible permission. It's not the least possible permission. And one more thing is like storage account blob data contributor. So that also I'll be giving. So blob contributor. These two permissions I'll be giving for this service connection, what I'm going to create. So service connection is like a non-interactive way of authentication. If user wants to log into any system, he will be asked to provide the credentials. Like, so he will be giving in the username and password. So that's interactive way of logging in. Whereas one product cannot log in interactively like that. So for them, we go for creating an account through which that product can log in or prove its authority using a non-interactive thing. So that is why we go for this service connection. Let's go and create a service connection now. So this is my new pipeline. This is running. Okay, I'll go here for creating I'll go to my DevOps organization. I'll go to my project. In the project setting, I'll create a service connection. So this link we used for adding agent pool, and in this link, we will go for creating service connection. Let me create a service connection. So we are trying to create a service connection, which will authenticate this Azure DevOps to this cloud. Okay. So I'll just go with this resource manager because both of my accounts for accessing Azure DevOps, I'm using account, and the same account I'm also using for Azure Cloud. So one email ID I'm using for accessing these two. So that is why much of the thing we don't need to do, but you can do it a different thing also. Yeah. So I'm just registering an app. These all are little advanced. Okay, subscription. Okay, which resource group? I'll just select demo. And then the service connection name, let me say is yes, CN service connection. And I'm giving permission to all the pipeline and say save it. Yeah, the service connection is created. Okay, where is my architecture diagram? So for this service connection, I need to give two more roles. One a role for my subscription and then the block contributor for this particular container. For that, I'll just go and access the service connection and go to app registration just to get the name. Give your credentials. So this name I need. I'll just copy this name. Okay, fine. I'll go to Azure account. See, this is the container I have created. I'll go to this container, go to access control. So who can access this container? Okay, so the service principal or service connection, what I have created should access this. So I'm giving a role assignment for that particular service connection. And it's related to blob, storage blob data contributor, and say next. And username, let me select the member. I'll paste it. And this is the member. And I'll say select, review, assign, and assign. So this will do this blob data contributor. So this permission we have given. And we will give one more permission, that is owner at the subscription level. See, for accessing the storage account, we have given the necessary permission. Fine. So now pipeline can access this storage account. Next, this pipeline should also create resources, right? So it is creating in my subscription. So for that, I'm giving the next permission. So the next permission, what I'm giving is giving a highly privileged permission. Okay. And with that, so any resource it can create under my subscription. So it is going to create resource group, new resource group, and new VNet. For that, I need to give the permission, and that's the next permission I'm giving for this service connection. How do I do it? I'll just go to subscription, go to the only subscription available, access control, add role assignment. This is privileged administrator role called owner, and I'm giving it to the same member, which I have copied there, and say select. Next, allow user to assign all roles and say review and assign, review and assign. Perfect. So we have given the necessary permissions. Let's go back here. So we have a service connection. Okay, and that service connection I'll be using in my pipeline. So when I'm running this pipeline, I'll use this service connection so that my pipeline will authenticate through this DevOps. Okay, or this DevOps software as a service, which while running this pipeline will authenticate my Azure cloud. Once for this container for storing the state file, One more is for provisioning new resources. Okay, so I'll be creating, as stated in my code, a resource group, a VNet and subnet, right? So a resource group gets created, which is a logical container, And then we will be creating a VNet, and then we will be creating a subnet. Okay. So we are almost there. Let's run this particular pipeline and see what happens. Where is my pipeline? Yeah, this is my pipeline. And you need to make sure that a couple of things, like you created a self-hosted agent and the name is matching this or not, you have to verify. Okay, so this is my self-hosted agent. So SHA is matching. Yes, that's fine. One more thing is that you created a service connection, that's SC, and you need to set that service connection here. So this is the service connection. Okay, fine. Because while applying, we need to have the permission to create resources there. For that, this service connection it is using. And even for accessing the storage account, the same service connection it is using. That's great. And now it will initialize, that's related to Terraform. It will be initializing what is a Terraform version, and then the cloud provider version will be initialized. And then we will validate if there is any error in the YAML file, which is created by us, which is the infrastructure support file. And then plan will give us a blueprint, like what all of the resources getting created, and then apply will actually create it. Now let's say save and run and run. Yeah, the build process started. I will not pause. I will leave it as it is. Let's see what's happening. I go to my agent. So it was listening for job and now it started running this particular job. Okay, the job initialization is started. Now let's wait. If there is any error, then we have to fix it. Obvious. Just try to get more errors so that you will come to know how to fix that. Yeah, Terraform initialization is successful. It means that Terraform, like the pipeline, had the necessary permission to access storage account. That's great. Now, whatever the file, like it's getting created, will be archived to the artifact, and it is also given as the plan. So the plan is to add three. One is resource group, a VNet, and a subnet. I think Terraform apply is running now. Yes, it's running successfully. We will have to wait few more minutes. Yeah, the build is successful. Let's verify. Let me go to my Azure account, go to resource group. Yeah, my G class RG got created. Now, if I go to if I go to this resource group, you can see the VNet got created already. Inside this VNet, you can check your subnet. Meanwhile, if you go to your storage account, and this is the storage account I have created, and I have a container. I just created only the container. But if I get inside this container now, I can see one state file got created, tf state. And how this file was created, that's how the name I gave there. Like if I go to my pipeline, and if I just try to edit, and if I go to my init, this is the file name I gave. tf state was created during this initialization process. So previously I created just the storage account and then the container, and this file was created automatically. So that's it. And then don't forget to delete all your resources. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.